So in honor of Free Comic Book Day, May the 4th, and Cinco de Mayo, let's menage a trois this shit.
Right on.
I'm Aaron. I'm the one who hates to talk to people, but still somehow has a podcast.
And I'm Josh, and I love talking to people. I'll talk to anybody and anything, including the wall.
So we got a lot to cover. So welcome to episode 8.5 of Dysfunctional Nerdcast.
All right.
Again, if you haven't listened to episode 8, we did an Avengers and Comic-Con review. We're putting these both up pretty much at the same time, so make sure you don't miss that episode. But we're going to start this one with Hasbro.
Man.
Yes, you heard it correct. Not Hasbro, but Hasbro.
Because that's what they do. They blow.
They actually suck, so it's actually the opposite of blow. But it just doesn't go with the wording.
Has suck.
Doesn't work.
Maybe they have sucked.
Ooh, we're on to something.
All the time. They have sucked.
So this is in reference to the Solo figures. We're supposed to come out for the new movie, and it was supposed to be on April 13th. Well, actually, it was supposed to be April 20th.
Right.
So this is how confused we are by the dates. We don't even fucking know.
It's like, when are these things coming out? The movie's in less than a month and a half, and we don't even know when these figures are coming out.
So they advertised for Wookiee Weekend, which was April 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So they said all the figures are going to come out on that date.
And that's what we were expecting. That's what we're waiting for. What
So,
happens?
Thursday, April 12th comes. JTA, Rebel Scum, all of them start posting. Figures are coming out April 13th. Surprise, motherfuckers. It's Friday the 13th.
And what was that, like 6 o'clock on a Thursday night?
Pretty
That's
much,
when I saw
man.
it. I think it was like
Pretty much.
6 o'clock. I come home and I'm like, checking out Facebook just because that's where I get a lot of news from JTA and stuff. And I'm like, that's Jedi Temple Archives for you people that don't know. Great source of info. But I was just like, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so,
Midnight release? What store's going to be open at midnight with a 6-hour window?
Well, the answer to that is nobody.
Exactly.
I call frantically to Walmart. They have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. They thought I was totally lost. So I didn't even bother with Target. I'm just like, I'll hit it in the morning, see what happens.
Yeah, that was my thought.
And I love how neither one of us contacted one another because we so secretly wanted to just one-up one another and be like, I
was
got
the entire
figures
thing.
first, motherfucker.
Yeah, that was totally it, man. And I was like, oh, I'm going first thing. Because this D-bag here doesn't even tell me he's taking off of work the next day.
It was Friday the 13th, people. It's a holiday.
Anyway.
So I wanted to
know.
get figures. And I secretly wanted to be a nice guy, pick up my buddy figures if they had them.
He says this now.
Guess what? You couldn't because while Target actually got them, thankfully, they got one fucking case. One case.
That's because your Target sucks.
One case of figures. So luckily there was only me and one other guy there because nobody else knew about this date. And he was like, oh, you're here first. Take what you need. I don't think he thought I was going to take the entire case, but I took it all.
Good.
I left him
You deserve it.
one lousy Luke that's a freaking repack.
That's useless and don't need it anyway. I don't even have it. Well, I went to Target. I got there 10 minutes before it opened and walk in, and apparently somebody kind of maybe beat me there, but they had everything there. And there was the only doubles were Chewie and the Mud Trooper, I guess. I picked them up for you because I'm a nice enough guy, but you already got the shit. So
yeah, so I go to Target. Nothing is on the shelf.
mine was
I have
on
to
the
ask
pegs,
her-
man.
I have to ask the lady. I'm like, are you doing Star Wars? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, there's Star Wars figures coming out today. The date is on the box. She's like, oh, let me see what I can get. She goes in the back after like 20 minutes. She comes out with a whole pallet full of stuff, but it's all like the crap nobody wants. Character cards and Nerf guns and Beyblades and all this other bullshit nobody collects. And one case of figures. That's it.
That's ridiculous. And it's sad, like, not even the stores knew that they're supposed to be putting this shit out.
No, so after I go there, because I was like still looking for 2-packs and all this stuff, I go to a different Target. They had nothing. There was a couple empty boxes on the pallets still. Like, they didn't even have time to put it on the shelf. And I checked 2 Walmarts. Neither one of them had anything on the shelf. It was like it didn't exist.
Well, apparently Walmart had no clue that this was going on whatsoever, and they didn't know for days. I mean, from what I was reading online, for what you were saying, like
Yeah, like
nobody knows. Nobody knew what the hell was going on.
Walmart was so confused that the stores that did put out product put it out at their clearance price of like $5 for the 6-inch figures, which normally cost 20. So you're getting brand new figures for $5, and then the other stores didn't put it out at all. Certain Targets thought the date was still the 20th, so we're holding it until the 20th. Other ones just put them out randomly, I guess. And then you go, and it's like after the first shopper, aka me, there's nothing left for anybody else anyway. So for people who wanted to work for the day or to go at lunch, there's nothing to fucking buy.
No, and that's where like our frustration with Hasbro comes in is you want to make money off of one of the hottest movies of the year, and you put out one case. This is what you're going to deliver to a store.
You
And
gotta strike while the iron's hot, and they just like refuse
no,
to.
yeah, and you repackage shit. You
You
bring
make
out figures.
what? There was 8 figures, and
Yeah.
like 4 of them are repacks.
It's like
K2SO, Maz
yeah, but Maz you could only get in
in a
s-
4-pack,
yeah, in
which
a
was
set
like
before.
whatever. Luke and I don't even know what the other one was. They're fucking meaningless. And the thing that really pissed me off, it's a solo movie, and you don't make Han Solo. I think pretty sure my fucking 3-year-old could figure out you put Han Solo in a solo line. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, and don't go this cheesy route of putting that new stupid Force Link thing. That's how you get your solo figure, spending $20 for this thing you got to put on the wrist that doesn't work.
Didn't work. They basically said, "Oh, we're sorry. We'll have it updated in 2 weeks." Great. You're going to release a product that does not work with the figures.
This tells me you didn't do your fucking research.
Hasbro.
You didn't do your research. You put out shitty product. It doesn't work. You don't even make the main character of the movie.
And Lando's
The main character.
Lando's the second main character, and you can only get him in a 2-pack. And you're telling me both, if you wanted to make them part of those packs, that's fine. But you're telling me they don't wear a different outfit? We saw in the trailer they wear different outfits.
Right.
At least make them in a different outfit in the main line. No, don't even offer it.
Uh,
Let's make repacks of stuff we already have.
and you wonder why people aren't buying your products. You wonder why your company might not be doing too good. You wonder why like toy stores aren't doing good.
Well,
because they don't have product to fucking sell.
Did you just see they came out with their like fourth quarter reports or third quarter reports, and they're blaming their lackluster sales on Toys R Us closing? That only happened a month ago. That doesn't affect your entire year or quarter. It's because you don't know how to ship product. And then all the new figures, like, oh, wouldn't you want Woody Harrelson's character? Of course you would. Well, let's not make it until wave 4.
Which you're never going to see.
You'll never find it. I have never found last wave of Star Wars figures at retail in my life because these stores get the first wave, which is all repacks. Nobody buys it, and then they're stuck on the shelf, and they think, we don't need to order solo figures. We have 100 of them here. They don't know the difference between wave 1 and 4. It's the same SKU number. Then they don't fucking order it, and you don't get the new stuff. So I'm stuck with Old Man Luke for the 10th time, but I don't get Woody Harrelson. Hasbro sucks. They have no idea what they're doing at all. I'm so angry.
Really, you want to go for more of like a nostalgic factor? Put out an original 12 for that movie. There are 12 figures you could probably put out from that movie. 12 characters from that movie. Don't give me Luke. Don't give me K2SO. You already did those fucking movies.
Yeah,
Right?
they're not even in the movie.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Your first wave should be the characters from the movie. The individual should not have to pay $15 more because it comes with some stupid bracelet that makes them talk. That doesn't work.
It doesn't make them talk, yeah, because it didn't work.
Give us 12. You want nostalgic to prey on the nostalgic factor that us collectors have? That's the way to do it. And they don't. They're not taking advantage of it. What really blows my mind, why is Disney like not saying, what the hell? They have so much power in everything.
They ought to just
they
buy
own.
Hasbro at this point.
Might as well just buy them and put them out of business. Because
And speaking of nostalgia, at least the one pleasant surprise was the vintage figures showed up on the same day, which I wasn't
sweet.
expecting. But they are raping the fans.
yes, and
Vintage figures, it's the same exact figure on a new vintage, like old packaging looking For $12.99, the regular figures are $7.99. I can understand like $9.99. I'm paying $2 for just different cardboard. $5 for a different cardboard.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, and I'm an idiot. I bought them, so I'm the sucker. But that is so frustrating. You're gonna charge me almost twice as much just because it's on a vintage package. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, totally takes advantage of everybody. And if you want to buy them, go ahead and buy them. I'm not going to say not to, but it's ridiculous, like you said, to have to put up with not getting an entire line, and we're going to piecemeal it all out, and we're never going to see the shit, and we got to find it somewhere online.
And I know they have these grandiose ideas of how this vintage line is going to work. It is not going to sell at $12.99.
No.
Because mom and dad who go to the store are going to see a $7.99 and a $12.99 and say it's the same damn size figure. Guess what Johnny's getting? $7.99.
And Johnny wants the Solo figures. Why does he want Snoke?
Even if he does, the parent's still going to be like, no, you're getting Chewie for $7.99. Sorry. Like, as many collectors that do buy them, there's still a lot of parents that buy their kids' toys. And they're just not going to buy it for a vintage package. They could care less.
And there's a lot of parents out there that aren't collectors per se, but they're going to want to buy their kids Star Wars figures. And you're right. They're not going to buy a first order trooper when you can find them at Five Below.
Yeah, they're still the first ones.
The same damn thing. No. Hasbro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I just don't understand. I mean, you're a marketing expert and you can't figure out a case ratio to put Han Solo, Lando, Chewie, Woody Harrelson, Kira. It's not that hard, man.
And
whoever that badass looking dude is in the trailer, it's going to be like the villain. They showed the robot. You didn't make him. Like, what are they doing?
Her.
Whatever.
It's just a shame.
From the trailer, I could get 10 characters, and I haven't seen the movie. These people have seen the movie.
I don't get it at all. And you would think, like I said, Disney, why aren't you doing something? This is your product line too. Like you have, like Hasbro might have the rights for it, but you're so freaking powerful. You own everything. ABC, ESPN, Star Wars, this, that, the other thing. Putting out the Marvel movies. Get in there. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't get it. So we were usually pretty excited about it, and this was just a huge disappointment. Everyone online was disappointed. People can't find the stuff. I still haven't really seen stuff restocked well at all.
No, and I've seen the peg warmers, and that's Luke, K2SO, and honestly, the vintage collection stuff of Snoke, the First Order, and
the 6-inch doesn't sell at all. No one's buying that for $20. It's just not worth it.
It's expensive, man.
And that's what they've been pushing more and more. 6-inch.
I think they're cool as hell looking, but for $20 a pop.
But I like 6-inch figures, but when I think Star Wars, it's 3 3/4.
Oh, you like 6 inches?
I only have a 3 3/4 though, so that's where I go with that. Well, that was the horror show that Hasbro was. So that leads us to a literal horror show, or should I say horror movie? And that's A Boring Place.
Otherwise known as A Quiet Place.
Oh, I said the title wrong?
You did.
Really?
Hater.
It was just not good. Again, going back to the last one where we said don't get your hopes up for a movie because it's just bound to disappoint you. Yep, A Quiet Place.
And this guy is, I think, I talked to just a handful of people, but this guy's the one that doesn't like it. And I knew you weren't going to like it, honestly. I think I knew a week before. After
they compared the movie to Jaws.
Who the fuck did that? I wouldn't have done that.
I think, I don't know, Bleeding Stool maybe.
Bleeding Stool?
Yeah, because they suck too. They're, Bleeding Cool. But
there's no comparison there.
It's not even close. Like, the movie offered nothing. It was nothing new. I mean, this movie's supposed to be the groundbreaking movie. I mean, it was already announced for a sequel. It's been made. It was like #1 for 3 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm happy that it did well for the sake of horror movies because there's not very many of them, and I'm tired of ghost horror movies. So in that regard, I really liked it. But as far as a movie, it was just boring, man. Nothing really happened.
Well, I think you need stuff to happen when you go to the movies. You like that. I don't know.
But there was no
You
like,
can't handle
there was no suspense to me.
the whole movie was fucking
I
suspense.
didn't find it. Maybe it was actually the quietness was boring to me. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You can't deal with something like that for some reason. I don't know. Like even like any slasher film, there's like slower parts, whatever. It builds up. That's what this did, but it was just quiet. No pun intended. Like to me, I think the emotions of the actors, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, were real life wife and husband. I think they did a fantastic job. Like I felt for
I
them.
thought the acting was really well done. Other than when she had the baby and just basically farted once and the kid came right out.
Well,
But I guess it was her like fourth kid or
yeah,
third kid. So maybe it just, you know, hot dog down the hallway situation.
Yeah.
But other than other than that, I mean, their acting was good. I do like Jim on The Office. I like him a lot.
It's such a different role for him. I
Oh
thought it
yeah,
was great.
and you weren't like the whole time. You're not like, well, that's Jim.
Yeah,
like
there was-
I find him funny. You didn't have that. He actually was a very dramatic actor. He was fantastic.
And someone I talked to at work, I think, brought that up. And they're like, "Did you think it was Jim?" I was like, "No, not at all. Like, I didn't have that in my mind at all. He looked completely different. He acted completely different." And I thought it was pretty intense. I thought it was emotional. As a parent, I was like, I felt for them. And, the whole thing is them wanting to protect their kids. And she's pregnant at this time where some alien comes down to Earth. They can't see, but they have the super hearing. So you have to be quiet because obviously when you lose one sense, the other one compensates for it. So these monsters have super hearing.
And the monsters were a ripoff of the Demogorgon. They were 100% the same thing. They looked the same. They ran the same. Their face split open the same. Fucking ripoff. Stranger Things ought to be suing the shit out of Jim Krasinski.
The Demogorgon?
Yeah.
The Demogorgon.
Yeah, I don't care what it is. They were a ripoff.
I think it was a combo of a couple different things.
So it was such a ripoff.
But an alien that opens up his face, I think you could go to a lot of B-rated.
They just looked the same. They
horror
acted the
sci-fi
same.
movies. You're going to see something like that. That
same skin
that didn't bother
color.
me whatsoever. I thought there was a little bit of an alien touch to him, a cross between the two. That's what I thought. I just kind of liked how, it was tense. There was tense moments. It was the kind of movie where it was so quiet at times. When something loud happened, you didn't necessarily jump, but you were like, what's going on? Like, you're like, oh my God, because you have to be quiet. So the tiniest thing, you drop something, oh my God, these things are going to come. And you hear, whatever it sounds to me. And they come close, but then you're like, okay, you quiet up. They don't know where you are because you remain quiet.
But that was a problem of the movie is there's so many inaccuracies. Half the time, they're not even quiet. At one point in the start of the movie, the kid jumps off of a countertop and hits the floor. That would be so loud. A newspaper is rattling in the air. They don't come. A flagpole is hitting the post and you hear like the clinging. They don't come. But then the kid's playing like Monopoly and they have to use like a cotton piece because a regular piece would be too loud. That's totally inaccurate. You're telling me moving a piece on a Monopoly board is louder than jumping off of a countertop onto a floor. It's fucking inaccurate.
I think you have to take liberties with certain things.
I thought that was stupid. If you're going to go that far, then just make the whole film quiet. There's so many times where they were loud. And then I was thinking as a strategy, because he at one point in the movie, he goes to the waterfall and he says, we can yell all we want. We can get out like our inner voice. We can finally let free because they can't come get you. They'll just like, the waterfall is going to drown you out.
Yeah, well, if there's a noise louder than you, they already know the waterfall's there. They've probably been there, so they know nothing's there. But if you're quieter than the waterfall, they're not going to come.
Which is fine. But wouldn't a strategy be like fucking set up stereos everywhere so that way if you are loud, they won't come kill you because you're quieter than the fucking blasting stereo? Do they ever even try to do anything like that? No. It took me 2 seconds to figure that out. No, let's just be ultra quiet instead.
Then the movie's over in like 7 minutes.
Okay, well, I solved it. That's how dumb this movie was. You can solve it in 7 minutes.
I I didn't really think it was that bad, man. You're just
I
ripping it
mean,
apart, and
I it was all right movie, but to make it out to be like this groundbreaking horror movie, and it's not even a good monster movie. I've seen much better.
I mean,
Found Feast more entertaining than
this
this.
is one of my horror light type movies. You know, we say horror because I don't know whatever other genre to put it in, but it's a classic monster in the woods type movie. There's lots of movies out there, but the thing I liked is just the tenseness that it did have, the family emotions that were in there. I fell for it. I didn't mind it. I liked it. Talked to a couple people. They really enjoyed it. You know, the self sacrifices that were made by certain people in the movie.
So
You
did you
know,
not want that daughter to die? Basically gets her brother killed. She gets her dad killed.
see,
And then she's the one who I guess gets to survive based on how you want to take the ending. I
yeah.
was like, kill that fucking bitch.
No, I didn't really say that she really had to die. I kind
She
of,
got two of her family killed. She's an idiot. She was the one who deserved to die.
I don't think if she got, well, A, obviously didn't do it on purpose. She's just trying to have a life of normalcy, and she herself is handicapped. She doesn't even know what normal is. I mean, she's trying to live as normal as possible. And I don't know. I just think she was innocent. She's 12 years old, you know?
The thing that drove me nuts with her is she has this hearing aid, and whatever the frequency that gives off the hearing aid somehow affects these aliens that they can't react and are basically dying from it. So the whole time she has this hearing aid in and the frequency goes off and she's like covering her ears and like cowering in pain because the frequency's hurting her too. All she had to fucking do was take the what do you call
Peace.
earpiece. I'll edit that. All you had to do was take the earpiece out and she wouldn't have had to hear it, but it still gives the same frequency of the monster. So she's cowering in pain for no reason. Again, she's an idiot. How do you root for a character that is that stupid? You get your dad killed, you get your brother killed, and then you're not smart enough to take your earpiece out.
Did it still work when she did take it out finally?
Yeah, it's
I don't
still
remember.
on. Just because it's in your ear doesn't cause a different frequency.
But it was still attached to her head, too, with that other part. I
It's
thought that
just-
all had something to.
It didn't have to be in
wacky
her
to
ear.
it.
It's just dumb.
I didn't
You want to
think
talk
it
about
was-
more dumb things? She drags up a laundry bag just with dirty laundry in it, and somehow it attaches to a nail. The laundry bag is and she's so strong that it rips a nail out of the step and pulls it almost completely 90% out just from a laundry bag. I didn't know they had a strength of a hammer.
Maybe it was like hemp strong. A strong
I
fiber.
mean, it was a cool scene. So you have the classic step on a nail and you see it go through the foot, and everyone can relate to that because you've probably done it. I've done it. So it's like,
I've
oh man,
never
you get
done
that
that.
pain. So like the pain of it was cool, but I'm like, that's just so stupid how the nail was exposed in the first place. Again, dumb writing.
The one thing I didn't like about the nail was like it was still sticking up for the rest of the movie, and every time you're like, is someone going to step on it? Someone's going to. I'm like, they want you to think, is everybody going to step on it? And nobody else ever does. You know, that was the cheesiest part for me, honestly. I thought it was an okay movie.
But it wasn't all it was hyped up to be.
I thought it was good. It was different. Really, it was different from what's coming out. It's not a fucking ghost story. It's not a fucking slasher. It's not, you know, boogeyman type thing. It's this monster in the woods thing is kind of taken off a little bit. I think I welcome it. It's something different. It
Yeah,
was just,
basically they were going off the popularity of Stranger Things. They're like, oh, let's just do an alien movie.
I don't know. I
I
can't.
just
No,
found it such a
dude,
rip-off,
no,
man.
no. I don't think that's accurate at all to say that. They're totally two different stories.
I'm surprised the
whatsoever.
daughter's name wasn't 12.
You're ridiculous. I don't even know what to say.
So we
They're
go
not
in,
even the same.
So we go into the ending.
Go ahead.
I kind of like the ending because it's bleak. I love bleak endings. Like I love The Mist. I know you hate it.
But it's one of the worst movies.
It's fucking
This
fantastic.
guy hypes that movie for no reason.
I love like Return of the Living Dead where you just nuke everybody dies. Like I love that type of stuff. So at the end, basically they find out the frequency is going to kill these things. So they draw all of the aliens in and then they turn on the frequency and she pumps the shotgun. It's like and she's ready. But she only has so much ammo and there's like hundreds of these things coming. So she might kill what, 5, 6? And then guess
Yeah.
what? They're dead. But they don't show it. It just fades to black. So I'm thinking with the sequel, it's not going to be this family whatsoever. And spoiler, Jim dies, obviously. We said it.
Mm-hmm.
She fucking kills the dad, basically, by being stupid. So he's not in it. I think if they're going to do a sequel, it's a totally different family, same world, universe, but...
You know what's awesome is we can't even call him by the character's name in the movie.
gonna call him
He's
Jim.
fucking Jim from The Office.
I have no idea what his name is in the movie.
Dad. I don't know. I forget. Lee. I think his name was Lee.
I have no idea.
But great testament to The Office. So
It's an awesome show.
it is. It's great. One we all go back to on Netflix. Yet ending is kind of like, meh. Yeah, they're gotta die. If they come back for a sequel, no,
That'll be really
It'd
dumb.
be that will be fucking stupid.
Except I liked the ending because it was bleak.
Yeah, I liked it.
bleak
I like that
endings.
too. I did.
Because everything always has to end on a happy thing, so I like it that it was different in
Yeah.
that regard. But
So,
I don't know. I
what do you
give
give
this
this one?
a 5.
I give it a 6.
Yeah, see, that's not that good.
Still better than what I gave the movie in episode 8. Think
There's
about
just no
that.
comparison, man. No comparison.
You know what? You're right. There is no comparison because they are two separate movies. But based on what happened in each one, and based on this hype and other things, and personally relating to certain movies, then they're accurate in and of itself. So 6 for this one for me.
The thing that's interesting is comparing those two movies was the audience interaction. Like you said, I was so annoyed with Avengers with the hooting and hollering and, oh my God, this, and, wow, he's showed up. This movie, it was so quiet. There's no dialogue. People were like afraid to eat their popcorn.
Yeah,
Like,
which I thought
nobody
was great. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah, you didn't hear straws sipping and candy being open.
No.
It was dead silence. I've never heard a movie more quiet, and that did add to the atmosphere of the movie. I really did.
You're
appreciate
totally
that.
right. And when things did happen, people still like even though because it was the stupid loud noise kind of scares you because you're kind of relaxed and complacent with the silence, and then something just and then you're like, oh, it worked, and people were jumping, they were doing things, and that's kind of what makes it a fun movie.
So yeah, I mean, I thought it was watchable. I wouldn't suggest to go run out and you have to see it in the theaters. I didn't think the theater experience really brought much to it. Like if you watched
I think it did.
I think if you watched it on DVD alone in your house,
If
it'd be
you
just as
watch it
good.
at home, you have to have it on surround sound and crank it. You really do, because it was so loud in the theater because of the silent parts that when something really happened, I mean, it was just like bang in your face. I think a theater experience could help this, or if you're going to listen to it at home, listen to it surround sound cranked.
All right, there it is. So a 5 and a 6 for A Quiet Place. Not quite what it was meant to be, I don't think. So segment 3 of episode 8.5 is The Walking Dead season finale. See, now this is where we did. I liked it.
It was
And
okay.
Yeah, you could care less.
I don't know. You guys know how I feel about this, and it's the way the show's been going, and it's been going downhill. Plain, simple, and it's the fact. It's proven by viewership, proven by the shitty story writing that's been going on. I mean, it's just not what it was. And the last episode, yeah, it tied things up. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. It was surprising to me that they actually did, and tie together stuff that was happening in the first episode with the dream sequence and Rick with the stained glass and his red eyes. And it did do a good job as far as that aspect goes. Overall, really?
It held really true to the comic book. So I kind of knew what to expect. Negan getting his throat slashed but not dying, that was exactly out of the book. Him being a prisoner is out of the book. So, I mean, I thought it did what it was supposed to do. Like you said, it wrapped everything up. It followed the story. We're done with the war. It did what it was expected to do. Well, yeah, it was nothing amazingly shocking, but it wasn't bad. I just thought the episode, it was purposeful. It did what it needed to.
It
Thought
did.
it was very, decently well done.
It did what it needed to, in the fact that it did wrap up. And that's the only good thing about it. And really, throughout that whole season, you could take the first episode, one or two of the middle ones, and the last one, and that could be your whole season.
Oh yeah, you could just watch like 4 episodes and know the entire story.
Yeah, but something about it was just a little lackluster for me. It didn't have like
There's no major cliffhanger,
there's a very subtle, slight cliffhanger.
which makes no sense to me either.
I think it does.
So
but...
Maggie, Daryl, and Jesus are somewhat conspiring to overthrow Rick, apparently, or that's what they make you believe.
Well, they're not happy with his decision to keep Negan as a prisoner instead of killing him, which...
Jesus is like the first one that would side with Rick on that situation.
Exactly.
And now all of a sudden he's with
sense.
Maggie and Daryl.
Yeah, he's the one that wants to surrender of how many people at that outpost. Oh, we can't kill him. We can't kill him. Let's let him surrender. Let's feed him. And then, so they can help overthrow us later. Great job, Jesus. And now, this is unacceptable. And
it made no sense for the character. Rick. And then Daryl, he would be the last person to try to like sneak around someone's back. He would do it in front of your face. He would go to Rick and say, "Do you know what? You're wrong. I don't like it. We're either going to kill this guy or I'm out." Or he wouldn't be sneaking around.
Or was it just enough for him to say, "You know what? All the shit that I went through, last season, being tortured." And
well, yeah, that's why he wants him dead. And Maggie rightfully wants him dead. There's no she deserves to kill that guy.
I think maybe, but Daryl's character maybe changed a little bit. Just a little bit. And Maggie, I totally understand that.
Yeah,
she's got every freaking right to.
But Jesus and Daryl, it makes no sense for their character.
0 sense. I don't know. Maybe Daryl's just seen the way. I mean, personally, I would side with Maggie and Daryl on this. I'm leaving Jesus out because he might probably flip flops.
They should definitely kill him. I'm not disagreeing with that, but. And the other thing that drove me nuts, I mean, you're going back to cutting his throat. In the earliest part of the episode, they show Rick reading the letter again, and he's obviously like at that point thinking, "I'm going to save Negan." But then when he has the glass in his hand and slices his throat, you're telling me he didn't try to kill him? You sliced someone in the fucking throat, deep enough to like incapacitate them, but not deep enough to kill them. Apparently, he's that precise with a piece of glass that he's never held before in his life. It's not like it's his knife. And then, like, just like that, he's like, bandage him up. I think I'm going to save him. So within a second, he totally changed. It made no sense.
No, it didn't. It's stupid. Therefore, I didn't like the episode as much.
No sense.
No, that's what I was thinking, too. I'm like, how much precision do you have to have with this curved piece of glass, that's stained glass, that probably it probably wouldn't even made a cut like that. I'm not a forensics expert by any means, but I mean, to slash the throat that cleanly, to sew it up, to do all this shit, and just how do you know to judge? If you're sitting right in front of me right now, there's no way I could even slash your arm right now knowing I'm only going to go in 2 millimeters.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No
like,
fucking
he
way.
He did it with the intention to kill.
Yeah.
But then a second later, he's like, I want to save everybody.
What the hell goes through his mind? And like you said, in
that
millisecond,
second, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Which is a mark against the episode. It's fucking stupid.
I mean, the other thing that didn't make sense to me was they kick out Dwight out of the camp. Dwight is the only one who actually helped the group. But all the other people that tried to actively kill them, they're like, "Oh, come on in. We'll plant flowers together and we'll fix everything. We'll accept you, no problem." Dwight, get the fuck out of here. You tried to help us. That makes 0 sense.
Yeah, the guy actually comes, helps you, unfortunately has to go back and play. He's playing the double agent.
Yeah.
How stupid are you, Hilltop people? And Daryl, to not realize that. He had to do what he had to do, and in the end, still fucking helped you. He still helped you.
The girl with the neck tattoo who fought you to the death at the very last second. Oh, okay, come plant lettuce with us. No problem.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Tara, we'll be best friends now.
Sow the fields.
We'll eat Twizzlers together.
Twizzlers. Crochet a little bit.
It's just ridiculous. It made no sense.
No. You're ripping this apart.
Well, things I liked about it.
Oh, my goodness. You like something?
Well, I like that I was correct.
Of course you do. Aaron was right.
In the Eugene prediction.
That was a very good prediction, man.
But it was so easy to see because the writing's really not that good. So I was basically 95% of the way there. I said like the bullets would be blanks. Basically, they backfired instead. But I said they'd all be lined up in a row. You know, ducks in a barrel or whatever, fish in a barrel.
And how lucky
Exactly how
are
it played
you
out.
that every single weapon is loaded with these bullets?
Eugene's that good.
They still had ammunition before. It's not like they had zero ammunition. They still had some. They needed more. They didn't have zero. So every single weapon had Eugene's ammo in it. Wow, that's pretty fucking lucky.
He planted them, man.
Did not plant them.
Eugene
He
is
had
a
zero
genius.
time to do that.
Can't spell Eugene without part of genius. Or vice versa. Genius without Eugene.
I don't even. That's good.
He's
I
a
like
genius.
that.
Yeah.
Eugene.
So
It's
I like that I was right. That's all I'm saying.
of course.
The other thing I did like is I was actually incorrect on this. We thought maybe they would go away from the Whisperers, right? We commented they'd probably take a Y in the road, go with this Georgie person. Well, they specifically allude, and Rick says that's the largest herd I have ever seen.
Yes.
They would not show that herd for no reason. And the Whisperers basically walk within the walkers themselves to create herds.
Because they're disguised.
And they're like locusts, and they just move the herd to where they want it to go. They destroy everything and take what's left. They're obviously controlling the herd. The walker or the Whisperers are they're going to make an appearance.
Now, are they going to make an appearance for a whole fucking season and a half, like the
That I don't know. I
Saviors?
think
'Cause
they
that-
might speed it up, but to say they're going
You
to
have
skip
to.
it, there's no way. They wouldn't have shown that.
I think maybe they showed what they did for the option too. So now you have this Georgie option. Now you have the Whisper option. You didn't know. Well, they didn't know at the time, but we didn't know until a couple days ago that Lauren Cohen was actually going to come back to the show. Which how fucked up would that be if her character, major characters, we're going to go after Rick, we're going to, kill Negan, etc. How messed up is that? That if they would have had to recast her.
She would have died during childbirth or something. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know, but then you have to speed it up. She's this whole season was what, a week and a half.
It's
If
gonna.
that-
I would imagine it's gonna flash forward years, if definitely months. I mean, it does in the book. It
like
flash
say it's going
forwards
to be
quite
a big
bit.
change. New showrunner and everything. So maybe it changes. Now the Whisperer thing, they better take care of it quick because I'm not going to sit through 2 seasons of building up the tension, having a war, etc. I'm not doing it. It's going to suck. I don't think fans are either. Fans dropped off consistently since after the season 7 premiere. Consistently dropped off. After Glenn and Abraham died, consistently dropped off. It's a fact.
It's gonna be weird because in the book, I mean, you got Alpha and Beta, but then Carl plays such a huge role because he kind of dates the daughter of Alpha, and Alpha becomes part of Rick's group, and it's almost you haven't watched Fear, but it's almost like the new girl on Fear the Walking Dead, where she really wants to be with Rick's group, but she's part of Alpha's, and they kind of tug and war with her on which side to go. So Carl's kind of like the saving grace and pulls her more towards Rick's side to help. So, I mean, there's a lot to play out there. Obviously, we don't have Carl anymore to do that, so I don't know where they're going to go with that. Alpha's daughter, she might not even be in it. I mean, big spoilers for people who don't read the books, but the Whisperers kill Ezekiel. They kill quite a few people. Basically, they say, you can't cross this boundary line. If you do, we're going to kill your people. Well, Rick's cocky enough. He's like, fuck you. I'll cross the boundary line. So they take their people, cut their heads off, and put them on pikes, and they fence out the boundary line with these people's heads, and one of them's Ezekiel's. And they're like, I told you not to cross us. And they do. How do you not do that? Like, that's going to be impactful. I think a lot of people like him.
Oh, yeah.
To see him dead on the show, I think it's going to be a big deal. So to do all that type of stuff in a season, it is a lot.
Well, and obviously they don't actually follow the book all the time. You got characters who weren't in the comics. You got people who died in the comics that are still alive in the show. Invite people who are dead on the show, alive in the comics. So who knows? They might not even do that. I think
Yeah,
it's all popularity of character too. People like Ezekiel, he's been on it long enough. Yeah, they probably can kill him off. It'll be emotional. And it's getting to the point some other characters, I think, too, that you can start killing off original characters. Obviously, as Carl was killed off. But to me, killing Carl off was stupid. We talked about that on a previous episode, so I'm not going to rehash that. But the show is almost its own entity. It really is.
Well, the big thing and the reason people were supposed to watch this episode was Morgan crossing over to Fear.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the weakest crossover events I've ever seen in my life.
You guys know I don't watch Fear. I'm reluctantly going to watch it.
You should. It's good. I love the last episode was fantastic. Loved it. This fucking new group, if they're called the Vultures, are so awesome. Awesome.
That was me yawning. I'm staring at the ceiling right now as Aaron's talking to me because I just don't fucking care about the show. Now I have to, because I got so much invested in The Walking Dead. I kind of want to see. I want to see what's happening to Morgan. But the end of season 8 was so weak, and then what I'm hearing about what happened in Fear makes zero sense.
Well, you had this opportunity, and again, they overhype everything. We've been hearing for an entire season how it's going to have this major crossover event. He doesn't leave for any reason. He doesn't find these people for any reason. He literally walked. He was Forrest Gump. He walked across country. Oh, I met this group. End of story. That's your whole crossover story, was he walked and just happened to run into these people.
Whereas at the end of The Walking Dead, he goes to the garbage heap, says to Jadis, hey, you're welcome at Rick's place right now. You're welcome at the hilltop, or whatever, Alexandria, wherever they're going to live now. You're welcome there. And he's like, I need a place where I can chill by myself and collect my thoughts. This is the perfect place. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, oh, cool. I get the garbage heap.
But nobody leaves him to freak alone.
But he's there. That was his sanctuary. And all of a sudden, he's walking cross country.
Because no one would leave him alone. Rick had to go see him, and Carol had to go see him, and whoever else. Oh, come join us again. He's like, I'm tired of this. And Rick specifically says to him, you can run, but you can't hide. And he was like, fine, I'll run. And that's what he did. He
drives him away.
He just ran. He was like, do you know what? And he says, actually, I think in the first episode of Fear, he's like, anytime I get close to people, they die. So his whole thing is, I don't want to get close to anybody. And he actually, in the episode, he sees a guy in a car. He tries to save him. The guy wants nothing to do with Morgan. And then later on, he sees the guy as a zombie. And he's like, see, I would have got close to that guy. And what did he do? He died. I would have just been disappointed or sad again. So his whole thing, he's just running away from his problems.
But who's the person he got close to first? Rick. Rick was the person he got close to first. He helped him. He's alive. How many? 2 years later, he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, the people he's closest to are alive. Carol, alive. Yeah. I don't know that, but I'm just saying that's his reasoning in the show.
I think
now he's obviously close with his new group, so.
Then that makes zero sense. So I'm going to get close with these people?
Yeah, instead of Rick.
I'd rather these people die than Rick is basically what he's saying.
It was just a weak cross. Like, as far as the crossover itself, it was kind of weak and meaningless. But I really did enjoy. The first episode of Fear was like mediocre. It was a little boring. I really liked the last episode 2 of it.
Well, mediocre and boring is how I view the show anyway, so.
I like the last one better than any of The Walking Dead. So, there you go.
Any of The Walking Dead. Well, of all time.
No, just this last season.
Okay, be careful with your words there, amigo.
So, sticking with the horror news, big poster reveal this week.
Oh, yeah.
Halloween remake.
You're excited about that, huh?
Oh, dude, I'm pumped.
Yeah, you sent me that
I got
email.
the day off for it already. Was it October 19th? I'm jacked for it, man.
It's a badass poster, man. I admit it. That's fantastic.
So it's like Michael's got his head down. It's just an all black poster with like 2/3 of it being Michael's face with his head down. And the expression somehow on his face is like Michael's sad.
Yeah, and I think what we discussed was it was like humanizing. You could see him as human.
Because however they depicted the mask, it's almost like it's his actual skin or it's like masked to his body.
Yeah.
And you can see the wrinkles and it's aged with him. It just looked like to me, it looked like an 80-year-old guy with his head down. Like,
yeah, like the mask is him.
Yeah.
He is the mask all in one. And when you look at like the eye part, you can see like the separation of the mask from the skin. But when it kind of draws down to his nose, the nose turns into you would think it's real skin from like the nose down, and the mouth, you can't separate the lips from the mask. It's so realistic at that point down, which is, I hope, what they were going for, because A, it's freaky as shit, really, and says a lot about Michael's character, I think.
I think it's going to be awesome. And then I guess they broke at CinemaCon. Jamie Lee Curtis said some stuff that she was sorry about making H2O. She thought it was a piece of shit, which I think is an awesome movie, actually. But they revealed that I guess the movie's going to open with Michael in an insane asylum, and he's just sitting there in shackles, like shaking uncontrollably as a guy shakes the mask in his face,
Like taunting him.
Yeah, it cuts away. Like, even just reading that, it got me so jazzed, man.
And Laurie Strode's like she's been waiting for this for 40 years for his return. She's kind of turned into
Linda Hamilton from T2.
She's like, she's got the arsenal. She's ready to go. She's trained, and that her trauma has turned into this, which I guess is. So it's a continuation of the first one, kind of disregards the second one.
Right,
is
yeah.
What I'm getting.
It only takes place after the first one. All the other ones are going to be disregarded.
Which is interesting take, because I like 1 and 2. I like how they flow together. And
well, supposedly they're going to get rid of the whole brother-sister angle. And from Carpenter's interview, he said he hated that aspect because they dwelled way too much on trying to make everybody part of Michael's family. So in all the sequels, like part 4, it had to be his niece. And then it was his step parents or cousins move into his house in part 6 and so forth, and it's just like too contrived. So I think they're going to play away that whole angle. I think it's just going to be him killing her for really no reason.
It's definitely something to look forward to, especially think about your old school slashers. I mean, how long ago was this movie, man? And it's coming back with a force and vengeance, man.
40 years. So Nick Castle's going to be at Monster Mania in August, and with this poster release, and I got to get a poster to have him sign.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think there'd be maybe one available before that, but I got to do it now. That's how much I like it.
Be cool. And Monster Mania, they're doing a Halloween panel, probably.
Probably. Nancy Stevens is there, which she's the nurse from the first and second one, as well as H2O. So I'm sure they'll get more.
Hopefully they get enough people there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll
get some information
guests
there.
Yeah.
Well in advance of the movie and stuff. So, I mean, definitely exciting horror news.
Absolutely.
Very exciting.
Absolutely.
So I guess the other trailer touch on briefly was the Venom trailer that came out.
I don't really care for it.
Yeah, me neither.
I didn't like how Venom looks. At least we finally got to see him in the second trailer. But I mean, it's a Sony movie, and to me, he looked like the Thing from whatever, the early 2000s. It just looks so costumed. It looked cosplayer-ish. It didn't look real.
Yeah, no, I agree. The first trailer was absolute garbage. It did nothing for me.
Yeah, the first one was really bad.
It was just stupid. The second one was just... They're trying too hard. The costume is atrocious. The symbiote, symbiote, as most people say it.
They're sponsoring a new Honey Nut Cheerios. Did you know that?
What's that?
Symbiotes and honey.
Oh, symbiotes and honey.
Yeah, they're sponsoring.
Oh, so they're a little.
It's going to be a venomized bee is on the box.
On the bee, and instead of O's are like venom heads.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So
no, this is how fucking dumb the trailer is. Symbiotes. I have never heard anyone in my life say symbiotes. Symbiotes. Yes, I say symbiotes.
Symbiotes. Yeah.
Symbiotes. I can agree with. And the lady has no accent. Like, I could see maybe a British person who's symbiotes. No, she has no accent. She just says it wrong twice in the trailer. So you're making a movie. They can't even say the word right, and I'm supposed to have much faith in this film. Oh, God.
And just that the whole trailer is just this symbiote goo.
Let's say it how they say it.
Symbiote.
Yes.
Symbiote. The symbiote goo coming off of Tom Hardy's character throughout the whole thing. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Oh, wow, I can do that? Holy smokes. I'm flying through the air off a motorcycle, off some jump. Oh, I'm going to die. Oh, symbiote's going to save me. I ate my symbiotes this morning. Save me. Dumb. It just did nothing to improve upon the first one to make me really say, I got to see this movie.
See, I'll definitely see it opening night. I'm sure we'll do a podcast review on it, but I don't think the movie is going to be that bad if you go into it thinking it's kind of going to be a sci-fi thriller. Don't go into it expecting a Spider-Man movie. It's not going to be your typical action hero fight comedy movie. It's going to be a darker mystery type sci-fi thriller. If you go into that and expect that, I think it'll be a lot better.
I agree, but overall, it still didn't. I'll go see it, for the podcast, but dude, it just really did nothing for me to want to go see it, man.
I mean, I really like Tom Hardy. I like Warrior is just awesome. He's fantastic in it. But in this one, and the other people have said, he's kind of cashing it in. It looks like he's
very dry.
Seems disinterested.
Just the lines are just delivered for the sake of delivering.
To me, it sounded like I thought he was like Rocky Balboa, or like a person mocking Rocky Balboa. Hey, you're good at hiding, but I'm better, or whatever he says. You're not good at it.
I'm sorry.
Hey yo, Mick. Well, crap thunder and eat lightning, or eat lightning and crap thunder. I mean, it's just like, seriously?
Yeah, it didn't really. It's almost like no acting in it.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. It wasn't very good.
So
I hope he gets more inspired. I hope we see better.
I doubt it. If this is the best they're going to put out for the first two, ain't going to get much better. It's already done. So what the hell, I don't know. We'll figure it out when it comes out. But we just want to touch on that briefly because that's all the time that I want to spend on it.
Yeah, so that's all we had for episode 8.5.
8.5.
But again, go back and listen to 8.0. Get the full review of Avengers and Comic-Con. Again, we're also doing our first giveaway for Free Comic Book Day. It's Avengers 316, which is for Spider-Man as part of the Avengers. All you have to do to register is give us a 5-star review on either iTunes, Podbean, or Facebook. We're going to put it in random.org, whoever signs up for it. We'll put your name in there. Whoever appears, we'll announce it on the next podcast. We'll get your address from there and send you a free book. So nice $25 gift.
Yeah, pretty cool giveaway from us to you. And don't forget, you can always check us out on Twitter at DNerdcast. Send us an email at dysfunctionalnerdcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. Check us out there. Leave a message. There are some videos up from Comic-Con that we did last week. And
we're going to post some pictures. I know everyone's anxious for that.
So if you listen, go back, listen to episode 8. Make sure you check everything out there.
Check out the cool interviews we did.
Yeah. And, you never know what we're going to put up as far as polls, giveaways. Pay attention.
I always put up my poll.
That's what she said.
So I think the next one we're going to do probably is going to be Deadpool. Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pumped.
I'm not pumped, but
I'm telling you now, it's going to be like a 9.5.
Yeah.
We'll see. So until next time, eat your symbiotes and honey.